Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 22/9/2022. So guys, let's quickly get into the news. Today I'm going to discuss about Russia-Ukraine war, including nuclear threats in detail, guys. There are very less news in this particular paper. If you people are already aware about the Russia-Ukraine war, you can also skip looking at this paper because today's newspaper has really uh, less number of topics that needs to be covered. But as I began by explaining, not only today, even before as well, I told you that winter is approaching. There can be two possibilities. One, the war can escalate or the war can end. And now we are observing that the war is escalating. It's a clear cut indication that there is a significant problem in this region which may spread to become the third world war as well. So let us go back to the basics and understand what is it and what has actually happened. So guys, if we see, this is Black Sea and this is Russia. Russia, if it has to come to Mediterranean Sea, it has to pass through Black Sea, Sea of Marmara, Aegean Sea, and then enter into Mediterranean Sea. But in this part, Russia actually has Caucasus Mountains. Mountains are present. And in this region, there will be snow cover almost for 3 to 4 months in the year. During that time, Russia will not have access to Black Sea. So, Russia is dependent on Ukraine for access to Black Sea. Now, this particular part of Ukraine is called as Crimea. Now, this Crimea has more than 90% Russian speaking people, and this was part of Russia. When Ukraine became part of Soviet Union, remember there was USSR and many countries started joining USSR. At that time, Ukraine also became part of USSR. When Ukraine became part of USSR, Crimea was given to Ukraine by Russia, and Crimea was under the control of Ukraine. In 1990, Ukraine wanted to come out of USSR. At that time, Crimea became part of Ukraine. So earlier it was of Russia, but Russia had given it and Ukraine only kept it. So now what happened? Russia told Ukraine, see, I want some access to Black Sea. Can you give me Sevastopol for lease? And Russia took Sevastopol for almost 70 years so that it can use Black Sea. Everything was going fine. But when I look at the Ukraine map, the eastern side of Ukraine is dominated by Russian speaking people, and the western side you mostly have the domination who support Europe. Now, every alternative time in elections, either a Russian supporter used to win or a European supporter used to win. Now, once Ukraine decided that they want to be part of European Union, when Ukraine wanted to be part of European Union, Russia thought if Ukraine joins European Union, then any decision will be taken by European Union, not by Ukraine. They may give me access to Black Sea or they might not give me access to Black Sea. So Russia thought I should stop losing my friends to European Union. So Russia established Eurasian Economic Union. I repeat, Russia established Eurasian Economic Union. At that time, in Ukraine, a new president came who was supporter of Russia, and he said, I will withdraw from European Union. See guys, first they said we will go for European Union, but Russia established Eurasian Economic Union. So the president said, I will join Eurasian Economic Union and I won't join European Union. This led to protests in Ukraine called as Euromaidan protests. When the protests erupted, the president Viktor Yanukovych, he escaped from Ukraine and he went to Russia. Now entire Ukraine came under the control of European Union supporters. At that point of time, European Union and US started supporting Ukraine, whereas Russia started supporting the eastern side of Ukraine. Russia started supporting eastern side of Ukraine, where Russian supporters were there. So one side European supporters are fighting, another side Russian supporters are fighting. This led to civil war. When two communities within the country start fighting, it would lead to civil war. When the civil war started breaking out, European Union and NATO came to Black Sea. They wanted to support Ukraine. Russia told US, please go out of Black Sea. But US and all were not ready to listen. So when Russia threatened US, Ukraine told Russia to go out of Sevastopol. I'll just repeat. To support Ukraine, European Union, US and all came. Russia scolded them. Ukraine asked Russia to go out of Sevastopol, and Russia told, you people have taken Crimea from me and you are asking me to go out. So Russia entered into Crimea, captured Crimea, and asked the people whether you want to be with Russia or Ukraine. As majority of the people were from Russian speaking community, they all argued that they want to be with Russia, and Crimea became part of Russia in 2014. And from then, the problem increased. Guys, now over a period of time, the war went on, but Ukraine wanted to join NATO. If Ukraine joins NATO, then it's very easy for Ukraine to control it. So, Ukraine, when it planned to go to NATO, Russia understood that if Ukraine joins NATO, there is direct threat to my country. So, Russia decided to attack Ukraine. And as Russia decided to attack Ukraine, today these are the regions which are under Russian control, and this region till recently was under Russian control, that is Kharkiv, but now it is under Ukraine's control. And now in the article it is believed that Russia wants to have referendum in this region so that Russia will be asked, or these people will be asked, whether they want to be with Ukraine or with Russia. And as you can see, the region Luhansk, Donetsk, these are all Russian dominated regions. And obviously, these people will vote in favor of Russia and it will be part of Russia. But as Russia lost this region, Russia is now thinking of sending 3 lakh troops to this particular region, and they want to attack Ukraine because now what Ukraine is doing, this particular part, as it has captured back, they are trying to attack Russia. So Russia is saying that as these people are trying to attack my sovereignty, I will fight against these people and I will also use nuclear weapons. So guys, here nuclear threat is coming out where Russia may actually bombard Ukraine. One possibility. Second possibility, Ukraine has nuclear reactors and today they are under the control of Russia, and they are already telling that some water pipes and all are leaking. And if that happens, and if the nuclear reactor blasts, then Ukraine may face a nuclear bomb which may kill Russian people also. Because one, you directly put a nuclear bomb, another one blast nuclear reactors, which will also lead to nuclear attacks. And guys, and if it goes to that level, the world will see the worst. You never know what is going to happen. So we need to wait and watch for that particular thing. Let's hope the world doesn't go to that level, guys. So these are some of the things that I wanted you to know with respect to this. And guys, in recent articles, I had discussed about non-proliferation treaty, where I had told that the countries have actually told whoever has nuclear weapons, they will adopt a policy of no use against non-nuclear weapon states. Now, Ukraine is a non-nuclear weapon state. So Russia must not be using non-nuclear weapon states. If at all Russia uses, it will be violating NPT. That is what US is trying to tell. Okay. So guys, I hope the things are clear. Quickly, let's move to the next one. Is ready to take up any responsibility that Congress gives me, not important. A century later, Nizam Swat said to return to India. Congress launches PM Pay CM campaign, not required. Let's come to a very interesting article written by our Vice President Hamid Ansari. Guys, this article is about fraternity, guys. Fraternity, universal brotherhood. Now, in this article, former Vice President is trying to argue that fraternity is one of the core symbols that we shouldn't forget, along with justice, liberty, and equality. It is very, very important for us to develop brotherhood among our societies. Initially, this was just a term, but in 42nd Amendment Act and after introducing fundamental duties, today it is duty of every individual to ensure that there is fraternity. And this concept of fraternity came from French Revolution, which says, do not do to others what you would not want them to do to you. Do constantly to others the good which you would wish to receive from them. Guess any time there can be an essay on this particular topic, I would wish you people to do this once. Like, take this particular topic and write an essay. Fine? Then, guys, when we look at the remaining part, it tries to talk about the social inequality that exists in our country. It may be with respect to Dalits, Adivasis, women, and religious minorities. And these people must also be given required fraternity, is what the article tries to argue. Take 15 minutes of yours and try to, see this once, guys. That's enough. Dangerous moment not required. I explained you about it. Yeah. Yes, trade tactics. It is trying to argue that in the next week, India is going to get a new foreign trade policy, and when it is being asked, it is extremely important for economy, international relations, and also PSIR optional, geography optional. There are topics of foreign trade policy and it will become important. And once it is released by the government, we will look into it. These editorial topics are not so important. You can leave them. And guys, I have already told you that Jammu Kashmir movie theaters have opened. Northeast India Army is coming out from AFSPA. And I also told the number of attacks with respect to Naxalism had reduced. And today the article has come. This is what we tell. You understand the pattern. Today the article has come where we are talking about internal security, especially left-wing extremism. Yes, left-wing extremism basically means Naxalism and Maoism. And fortunately, the article says Bihar doesn't have any more Naxalism. Jharkhand also, Naxalism is almost reduced. They say 90% is reduced. And they tell Operation Octopus, Operation Double Bull, Thunderstorm, and Chakarbanda. Fine. 4. octopus, double bull, thunderstorm, chakarbanda, all these has led to surrender of Maoists, and today most of them has been made part of mainstream. You have surrender and rehabilitation policy in which India is successful. I want you to write in your notes internal security, left wing extremism, hyphen recently under Operation Octopus, double bull, thunderstorms, and chakarbanda, naxalism naxalism has been eradicated eradicated successfully eradicated successfully. Full stop. Bihar is free of naxalism. Bihar is free of naxalism, and in Jharkhand also, and in Jharkhand also, naxalism has reduced. So guys, now see guys, will EWS quota cut share of pie? What is it? From last 1 week we are reading articles about discussion in the court. So let the judgment come. Rice output in Kharif season may fall short of target. Again we are listening to ban on export of rice and other things. So that is another aspect. BJP spent 340 crore on 2022 election campaigns, right? So not required. No criminality found in Naira Radia tapes. CBI tells top courts. Is all these are issues which are not important. SIT files a charge sheet against Setalwad Shrikumar Bhatt. So again, they were released by the what we call as Supreme Court. Now again, there are cases being filed. RSS chief meets Muslim leaders. Supreme Court condemns hate speech. Says all these are not required. Now this is important, guys. With 19,500 crore PLI plan, sun shines on solar cells units. A very important issue from economy point of view, guys. Let me explain this. See guys, now we know that solar energy is extremely important, and it is the future which India is looking for. India is a tropical country, and as India is tropical country, we can easily produce solar energy. But one of the major problem which India faces is Indian companies actually spend more cost in producing these what we call raw materials. For example, whatever is used like silicates and all, whatever is used for solar energy production, those raw materials, if it is manufactured within India, it will be cheaper because it will help us to save 1.37 trillion rupees. Can you imagine? So every year 1.37 trillion rupees is being spent on importing these. But we do not have the production units because in India technology is not there. So even if these people produce, what will happen? It is costly. As it is costly, you see, I need a glass to produce. Now this glass produced in India is costly. Glass produced from US is cheaper, and both are available in the market. So what will happen? I will purchase glass of US rather than purchasing glass of India because of cost difference and slightly quality difference as well. And now India initially thought we will put more tax or we will stop US imports, but later we got to know that when we do that, our production cost significantly increases and it will not benefit. But we should also ensure our companies will grow. See, guys, two things. I'll just tell in brief again. India wants to go for solar energy. For that, we need raw materials. We do not have raw materials. We need to produce them or import them. Import is cheaper, production is costly, but we should reduce import bill and promote our industries. So, Indian government, wherever they need to promote industries, they are going for production linked incentive. The meaning of that is a company will be given incentive if they give in outputs. For example, if they produce 1 lakh glass, then they will be given some incentive. So incentive is not given for setting up. Earlier, if you set up, tax incentives were given, right? Today, incentive is not given for setting up alone. You will get incentive if you start giving more output. So when you give more output, what is going to happen? You get more incentive. So what will you do with more output? You should focus on sales as well. So that would lead to GDP growth. That would also lead to industrialization. And in India, if we can go for these industries, it can give job to almost 10 lakh people. That means 10 lakh families will be benefited from that. So government is trying for this specific one. So I hope you got the point, right? So this is a plan, but it will be really beneficial. Now, I just want you to note another one. International treaty. International treaty. These are all generic ones. Where you write one line, I want you to have this. International treaty on plant genetic resources, plant genetic resources for food and agriculture. Plant genetic resources for food and agriculture. Okay, so guys, this is a group which actually meets to talk about genetic resources with respect to food and agriculture. Now, it is talking about how exactly we can use the knowledge that is present, genetic resources that are present, come together and ensure that, our productivity and all increases. So that's what this is actually trying to tell. I want you to read about this organization once, please. It is not given here about the organization, so please read about this organization. If this continues, I will try to show you what are the points that you need to note down from the internet. Just look at this article. Put patriotism first. China tells its Muslim citizens. This is where the problem is. Muslim communities in India also claim that we are constantly being asked to choose either, are you a Muslim first or Indian first? That is the biggest challenge that Indian Muslims face. That's what many people tell. China is trying to make it a state policy where it is trying to say that you be Chinese first, then you become a Muslim. Religion is next, country is first. This is what China is trying to push on its people. And these are Uyghur Muslim community. And if anyone tries to violate it, China kills them. So this is one of the major issue that we see. Unfortunately, many Muslim countries are supporting China, but only Western countries are condemning it. So, not required. Yes, we have seen all these. I'm sorry. Yes, you have ADB, Asian Development Bank pairs India with GDP forecast. It is reducing to 7 from 7.5 because of inflation. So, apart from that, nothing else is important, guys. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.